The Ukraine crisis is getting wall-to-wall coverage in the Western media. But would that be the case if the same thing was happening in a non-European country? Invasions and bombing campaigns have been happening around the world for decades, but none of them seem to get the same attention as Ukraine. The media is almost unanimously decrying Russia's airstrikes in Ukraine as dangerous and wrong. But Saudi Arabia has been mercilessly bombing Yemen for the last 7 years, yet the media is virtually silent on Yemen. In 2018, ABC, CBS, and NBC dedicated a collective 20 minutes to coverage of the crisis in Yemen, where over 20 million people are in need of immediate aid. The US bombed Somalia the exact same day that Russia invaded Ukraine, but nobody started a hashtag #StandWithSomalia. Did any major newspaper in the US create a live blog for every single time Israel carried out its routine bombing of Syria? Hell, the US government has a long history of bombing black neighborhoods in America, and we don't even learn about it in school. The media says, oh, well, this is different because Russia's invading a sovereign country, as if the US didn't invade several sovereign countries after 9/11. But when the US invaded Iraq, Afghanistan, or Syria, the media didn't condemn the invasions as violating sovereign countries. They encouraged them and cheered them on with endless streams of racist propaganda. We've also seen Ukrainians defending themselves with homemade Molotov cocktails celebrated as heroes. Yet when Palestinians defend their land with stones, they're called terrorists. Media pundits try to downplay this double standard by explaining why this conflict is different from the ones taking place in other parts of the world. But this only ended up backfiring.
And this is not a developing third world nation. This is Europe.
It's very emotional for me because I see European people with blue eyes and blonde hair being killed.
Our point here isn't that Ukraine isn't important or that people are wrong for wanting peace in Ukraine. We've covered Ukraine non-stop since the invasion started, and as far as we're concerned, the more people that want peace, the better. But you have to ask yourself, why is it that certain invasions and military occupations dominate headlines while others are completely ignored? Well, individual racism and chauvinism are definitely part of it. It doesn't tell the whole story. You don't hear about Yemen, Palestine, Somalia, or Afghanistan because in all these places, it's the US and its allies doing the killing. Russia, on the other hand, has been treated as an enemy state by the US establishment way before Russia invaded Ukraine. The Pentagon recently reoriented its military strategy around great power confrontation with Russia and China, which it sees as threats to US world dominance. This corresponded with a massive increase in anti-Russian and anti-Chinese propaganda in the media. So while we all want to see a peaceful resolution in Ukraine, the Western media's blatant double standards and refusal to talk about NATO's belligerent eastward expansion, which caused this conflict, make it abundantly clear